I'm here with David Drew, our technical customer service representative. And this is actually our second time trying this because the first time your focus was stolen by a water bottle.
Water bottle has a little more charm than I do at times, I've been told.
So, David, when and why did you start here at RunSignup?
So I started at RunSignup in January of 2023. Previously, after COVID, I did a couple odd jobs. I worked construction, I worked in a warehouse, I worked in a restaurant, just, stuff to make ends meet. Prior to COVID, though, I worked for End Result out of Indianapolis, and I was a full-time timer, and I did a little bit of support for Get Me Registered, one of RunSignup's competitors at the time. And I absolutely hated my job prior to RunSignup. I was not built to work in a warehouse. I've been told I'm bad at shoveling, which is apparently a low-end skill that I am missing.
Is there a lot of shoveling that goes on in warehouses?
No, but that was construction.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
I see the confusion there. There was a little bit of shoveling, oddly enough.
It's like maybe a broom, but okay.
Well, I'm decent with a broom. I'm no master, but I'm okay. But what I'm actually good at is sitting behind a computer and fixing things. And so when I'd been talking to a friend who was a timer, and he saw the posting for RunSignup's opening after Chris May left, and I jumped at that chance to apply. I remember I was standing in an aisle in the warehouse and on my phone sending an email to Kevin Lai, I gotta apply. I can't, I'm not gonna mess around. So I think I probably applied within an hour and a half of actually the job posting going up. Anyway, I started at RunSignup, and I kept thinking this has got to be a little worse than it appears. There's got to be something bad here, and there hasn't been. And so I've told Kevin a few times, hey, if you ever want to get rid of me, you're going to have to fire me about 5 times because I'm just going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep trying to log on. If you cut off my logins, I'm just going to show up at the office until
Just go to each individual race director and help them with their race.
That actually happened a couple of years ago, or a year ago or so. I was I have a baseball field I take care of, and on some Saturday morning I had to go out there for something, and I had my laptop with me because I was working and on call. But there was a race going on across the river at a school, and turns out the timer there was a RunSignup and race day scoring user, and so he sent in a ticket. And I messaged my coworker Dave and said, I got this one. And I grabbed my laptop and I ran across the bridge, across the river, and showed up and said, hey, I heard you needed help with your race. And I helped him on site and went back across the river to my baseball field. And I think that might be the best customer service we've ever provided. Randomly showing up at a race.
I'm sure he's at his race on days and just hey, watch this. And then you don't show up. It's oh, I thought David was supposed to be here.
I hit the button. Why didn't he show up?
So what Sorry.
No. You go.
So what exactly?
I'm sorry, that was cruel of me.
Hey.
I'll stop.
Any of this is possible to be left in.
I know.
If I laugh at it during editing, it's all
right, that stays in.
So aside from meeting race directors right there in person, what is your normal day like here at RunSignup?
My normal day at RunSignup, and by at RunSignup, I mean in my basement, I will typically log on around 9 a.m. and, Monday through Wednesday, I'll log on at 9 a.m. and I'll keep an eye on both race day scoring support tickets. We'll provide, weekend setup help during the week. So most of the work during the week isn't so much live troubleshooting, it's preventative maintenance. Hey, can you check this race? We're not too sure how to do it. We'll go through everything, say, hey, you missed here, here, and here. Fix that and you're good, and hopefully we don't hear from them during the weekend. During the weekend, it's a little different. Typically, Friday night, I will put my laptop next to my bed, and that way I can, if I wake up at 6 a.m. and check tickets on my phone and see, hey, this timer ran into an early problem, I can get right to it. I don't have to run around looking for my laptop, trying to get ready. I can just answer questions as quickly as possible. So during the weekends, I'll wake up at 7 a.m. at pretty much at the latest and start keeping an eye on things. I think Dave and I kind of bounce back and forth. I'll wake up and do something from 7 to 7:15, then drift off to sleep because I don't wake up until 9 o'clock most of the time. and then he'll check in at 7:30, but by 9 we're always fully there. Beyond that, we just answer tickets all day. We help people solve problems, help people prevent problems, hopefully.
And who is it that you're interacting with mainly? Is it runners, race directors?
I interact mostly with race directors and timers. I think as time goes forward, I'll move to mostly interacting with timers. But for now, it's a good mixture of timers, race directors, and participants who need help logging in and getting registered.
Now, what do you do if you run across a question that you don't know the answer to?
So as far as race day scoring, there's a couple different options. We recently hired a newer programmer. His name's Matt Daly, and he's become my go-to for like little things that I'm kind of embarrassed to ask because I feel like I should know them. But he's new enough that he's not going to judge me. It's not like bothering a senior developer, but like if he doesn't know, it's also fun for him to go figure it out, and then he can look at the code and I can just go do something else. So yeah, there's a couple different things. I can go to my coworker Dave because everybody on race day scoring support has to be named David. I don't make the rules, but there they are. We'll talk among ourselves, and sometimes we'll go to one of the junior developers if it's that kind of question, or sometimes we'll just have to go directly to one of the project leads. As far as it's kind of a collaborative effort. We each have our strengths and weaknesses. There are things that I'm good at that you aren't. There are things that you're good at that I'm not. And, over time you learn like, all right, I ask Andrew about this. I ask Allison about this. I ask Dave about this. And we don't ask LV or anything. That better make it in.
And just out of curiosity, what are the things that I'm not good at? Let's get the list.
Well, I feel like
And we're back. Now, what happens if there's a feature request or a suggestion?
So we discuss that internally most of the time first among our like info team and race day scoring team for support to make sure, hey, have you guys seen this before? Is this something that's been requested time and time again? Because the repository where we keep those things can be a little difficult to search through because we all word things a little differently. So to save time, I'll go to my coworkers and say, hey, what do you think about this? Have you heard this? And, usually it'll get logged with the developers and then they'll make a decision from there. There are times, though, where we think like, well, like say if I came to you and said, what do you think about this feature suggestion? You'll say, well, yeah, we could request that and spend development time on it. But there's also this workaround that I would never have thought of. And so that's the first step. We talk among ourselves, see if there's a viable, repeatable workaround before actually pushing it to the developers.
Now, what do you find the greatest strength is of the InfoAt team?
I think it's our response time. I don't know about you, but anytime I submit a ticket to something like Comcast or, any company that has the kind of market share that we do, I feel like, first of all, it's going to take some time to get a customer service agent, and then chances are they're going to be a low-end support who's just reading through a script. We don't really have scripts. We don't get too much direction on here's what you have to say when somebody asks this. Here's what you have to say when somebody asks this. It's left to us to respond to each problem in the way that we see best. And so there's a lot of trust that comes down from our management, and I think that gives us a lot of flexibility to answer questions in the way that we think they need to be answered in. And so, A, we're quick to respond. B, we know what we're doing because of that. We don't just have to follow a script. Sometimes we have to spend 30, 45 minutes testing something.
Now, do you have any favorite features on RunSignup?
So when I was a timer, a full-time timer, the way we did things at End Result was it was whenever you would come to get your bib, we would put things in alphabetical order, which is great for customers because they know their last name 98% of the time, which is a lower percentage than you would expect. But the problem with that is as you have people signing up last minute, you have to put those new signups into the alphabetical sort. And speaking for myself, I was weirdly bad at sorting things alphabetically. I can handle A through Z, but like once you start going 2 or 3 letters in, oof, it gets tough, man. The check-in app solves that. Because suddenly you no longer have to do this pre-assigned bib assignment. You can just do it as they walk up. And so when we timed the Flying Pig, and each year that would mean, at the time before COVID, 40,000 packets we would have to prepare. And so we would start a month in advance. We would start printing packets. We would start sticking bibs with the chips required to time. And it would take, we would have 12 people working 8 hours a day for nearly a month because it's just a massive amount of work. Checking app solves that. You still have to prepare all the bibs, but then it doesn't matter what order the bibs are in. It doesn't matter anything as long as the right chip is assigned to the right bib. Then you walk up, I grab the next bib out of the stack, scan your QR code or look for your name via my phone, punch in the bib number, hand it to you, and it's done. That syncs up to RunSignup. And if you're using race day scoring, the bib then syncs down to race day scoring. No more work required, no alphabetical sort, no fiddling with importing CSVs. It's just all done automatically. I think that is genuinely the biggest paradigm shift RunSignup has brought to the timing world.
And any fun stories about working here on SignuP?
I can at least explain the shirt I'm wearing. So a few weeks ago, an old coworker from the warehouse just randomly sent me this screenshot of a sweatshirt he was buying with this shirt on it, or with this image, which is a recreation of the Sistine Chapel, except with instead of Adam, it's a cat, and the cat's about to bat away God's hand because, well, I'm sure you've met a cat. So I instantly buy this shirt, and I spent like $35 on it, and I will admit I do regret that. Anyway, that gave me an idea though, like, because what are you gonna wear this shirt to? Like, it's a weird shirt. So I was thinking, I was like, oh, I know what I can do. You're in the office all the time, so it's whatever. But I convinced my coworkers, Allison, Dave, and Elvire, just to show up completely normally to the first day in office, just wearing real wacky shirts. And Allison did comply. She agreed. Everybody agreed to it, but only Allison and I ended up doing it. And I wore this shirt. Allison has it's a purple shirt with the pygmy hippo from the Richmond
Poppy.
Zoo. Poppy, thank you. And Elvire claims he forgot, but I'm pretty sure he was just. It's his first time in office, so I get the nerves there. And Dave is no longer with us. He's at the hotel because he's sick. So he gets a pass, but Elvire doesn't. So assuming his video is published around the same time, you can let him know I'm disappointed.
All right. Well, thanks, David.
Yep.